Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Business Lincolnshire live show. I'm Guy Lewis, and I would like to start the first show of this. I was going to say this year, but actually we did one early on. So, my name is Guy Lewis. This is the second show of 2024. It's the 20th episode of Business Lincolnshire live show. The live show started in April 21 to engage with businesses across Greater Lincolnshire and Rutland. And the idea was to discuss topics that affected them, answer questions, and also share the support that is available to you as business owners in the area. So just remember, just a little bit, just making sure we're live, etc. So I'm still trying to make sure we're actually live on our LinkedIn feed. Just to make sure you know how to get engaged with us, you can actually go on the live messages, the event chat on the LinkedIn event. There's a slight delay between that chat, but I'll try and get the questions answered later in the show. And what we're trying to do today is we're talking all about manufacturing in advance of the manufacturing conference on Friday, 9th of March, which is organised by Business Lincolnshire. So today we're talking about all things manufacturing and the sort of support that is available to all businesses in the manufacturing sector. We will be joined today by Trevor Durant, owner of Smart Advice Consulting, Mike Epton, owner of CMBD, Chris Owen from Owens and Partners, and Andrea Collins from the Global Trade Department. I'd first like to bring Trevor Durant into the program, and as I said before, he's the owner of Smart Advice Consulting. So I'll bring Trevor in. When I can find him. Here we go. And as I'm doing that, I'll just like to introduce Trevor. Trevor spent many years working in the manufacturing sector for organisations such as Nestle, Coca-Cola, Molson Coors, Brewing, to name just a few. And Trevor is also the manufacturing advisor for the Lincolnshire Support Programme. Hi, Trevor. How are you?
Good afternoon. Really well, thank you. What about you?
I'm really good. Thanks, Trevor. Really good. Bit busy, as you say. Busy show. Got four people on here telling us things. So tell me a little bit more about you, Trevor, and then we'll go into some of the things you're doing for Business Lincolnshire.
Okay, so I've worked in manufacturing pretty much all my adult life, from being an 18 or 19-year-old apprentice with Coca-Cola, and worked in lots of different sectors of manufacturing, so FMCG, soft drinks, brewing, confectionery, and then moved into textiles to the latter part of my permanent career. And then it was the start of 22, another fallout from COVID, where I decided to set up my own business. I was at a point in my life where I thought, actually, I've got a good balance of experience and skills and a bit of life in the old dog yet, and thought I'll set up my own business, consulting manufacturing businesses on anything and everything to do with manufacturing. And then had plenty of private clients, and just thought middle of 23, I'd like to get into some public contract work. So tendered for the Business Lincolnshire Manufacturing Advisor Programme and won that. And now I deliver several days a week to that service, to all manufacturer businesses across the region in whatever way they need me to support. So yeah, I do lots of things within that role. Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to go
Yeah,
over?
no, absolutely. So yeah, what sort of support do you provide on that sort of one-to-one basis, I guess?
Certainly. So the role's split into three main areas. The first one is an ambassador for the organisation, obviously. So attending conferences, events like this, supporting the brand and just getting the message out there, which is a small part. And then the larger part of the role is split into two, really. And that's where I go into a business and diagnose where they're at. And it could be that at the start of an accelerated period of growth, or they could be going through a cost pressure environment, or they could be right at the start of the journey, or they could be looking to move a site. So we do some diagnostics, and that can be anything from a formal set of questions to just listening to what they want to do. And then from there, I've got a couple of pathways, really. The first one is I can directly support them. So a business might say to me, we're buying materials from China quite cheaply, but with a resilient supply chain. Can you help us find alternative suppliers in the UK? So I might help them set up a supplier approval process. Or they might say to me, we're just struggling with cost on the site in terms of productivity. Can you come and observe and just give us thoughts on how we might improve productivity? So I can directly help them. And that's just using my experience from the past. And then so I suppose third part of the role, so that diagnostic might lead me to a point where actually they need some structured support that isn't suitable for me to deliver individually. So that might be a business that says we've got a team of 5 team leaders. They have no real experience in lean or management, and I can refer them through to other parts of the program. So we'll meet Chris and we'll meet Mike on this call, where I can refer through to Made Smarter, to the manufacturing support program. It could be another advisor within Business Lincolnshire, or it could actually be through to contacts within the wider network that I've met over the years who can deliver other areas of support. So it's quite a dynamic role. It's not very structured, but that's a really good thing, because it means I can give really bespoke support where it's needed, rather than just saying, well, that's the offering and that's what it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna if I can do this, I don't know if it'll work. We're going to try and show this banner. That would be the where you find our manufacturing business support programs. I've got a slide there, which I think is showing there where that is on the website, our manufacturing support programs. So, what sort of businesses are eligible for this type of support?
So any manufacturing business, and for me, manufacturing, we can get hung up on the specific definition, but for me, it's anybody who's buying raw materials or parts and adding value. So it could be a traditional manufacturer who's making components that go into cars, or it could be a powder coating business, or it could be a material forming business, or it could be anything like that. So as long as it's loosely taking raw materials or parts and adding value, I'm interested in talking to them.
Okay, that's super. And like I say, there was we were talking at talking about the conference that's on in March. I mean, will you be there at that conference? Is that sort of part of your role? That's what you do?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll be there talking to businesses, understanding what problems they have, why they're at the conference, hopefully setting up some follow-up calls, whether we can go through the diagnostic, or they might say to me there and then, actually, I've come because I want to speak to somebody who can help me with achieving ISO 9001 standardization, whatever it might be. So yeah, I'm there to talk to prospective businesses, but also just share experience and get some more contacts.
Great. So you talked about maybe that ISO 9000, that process types of systems and processes. You talked about supply chain. Are there any other typical sort of areas that people come to you for? I'll probably just surprise you with this question, so you know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I've got a few thoughts. So if it's within manufacturing, generally I'll either know somebody who's had similar problems, or I've experienced them myself. So it's always worth just sharing anything. But I would see it being grouped into lots of things. So definitely certifications like ISO 9001. I can see lots of businesses already asking for what is that and how do we go through certification. Supplier approvals, again, a big part of headaches for businesses. It could be that capital expenditure. So a lot of businesses obviously want to talk to me about potential funding, as they do any authority, and just guiding on, well, actually, you know, there will be time for funding, and maybe there is new machinery or facilities that you need, but I'm there to help them understand what they can do before they get there. What I see a lot of the time is that businesses think throwing money to a problem will solve it, and actually by thinking about the problem and what's really happening is a better way. So I'm hoping to bring that. It could be, as I said, defects, waste, lost production. It could be recruitment and skills. So again, first-hand experience of the problem of trying to recruit the right skills into a business, or just getting people into the business. So I can share experience of building training programs, building apprenticeship programs, and instead of looking for the right person who's already skilled, it might be a case of building in your own skills development program. What I would say is my approach is always about trying to establish good manufacturing practices. So I can talk about AI and the future of it. I can talk about investment and devices and IoT, but I want to focus my role on the real basics of manufacturing, which is standard processes with routines and disciplines, visual management, control. So I really want to drive home a good basic business management, really.
Okay. And like I said, I'm going to show you about this is the sort of the link that almost I drive everyone to, isn't it? So if they want to get in touch with you, they can either go to businesslinkage.com, find you on the specialist advisor and connect, or do you get referrals to the growth hub advisors as well? Is that how that works?
Absolutely, yes. So I do some outreach myself. So I've spoken to nearly 100 manufacturers in the region just directly. But yeah, if anybody's talking to a growth hub advisor and they're in manufacturing, then ask to be referred. And if nothing else, we can have a conversation and we're on each other's radar. One outcome might be a visit and support. So you never know where it'll lead.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add? Because that was brilliant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you out of the studio and bring you back later on, just where we're going to discuss the conference, if that's okay. Unless there's anything you want to add at this point.
No, that's all for now.
Brilliant. Well, thanks, Trevor, for that one. I'm just going to remove you from the, and sort of dump you out of the studio while I just introduce our next guest. Thanks for that, Trevor. Thanks for your time there. Hi. So I want to move on next. I think Mike here sort of alluded to some of the work involved signposting to other services and support. And to that, I'd like to invite Mike Epson into the stage. I'm going to add Mike in now. I'll give him a quick introduction. Mike is a consultant coach who's been supporting business throughout Lincolnshire for over 20 years. His company CMBD was originally formed to provide training and support through the University of Nottingham, and today provides a wide range of Chartered Institute of Management training qualifications up to master's level. Mike is also the provider of the manufacturing support program, so that Trevor alluded to signposting. So good afternoon, Mike. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's great, mate. Tell me a bit. I mean, I'll give you a little bit of a brief intro. Tell me a bit more about you and sort of on what you do as the sort of as director of CMBD.
Well, it's very much like Trevor in a way, except we're working within a structure of the manufacturing support program. You know, the intention is that you know, we're here to help manufacturing businesses and provide them the support they want. You know, as you said, it's over 20 years ago since I started that. In fact, very shortly I'll be celebrating my 21st year as a consultant. But prior to that, you know, again, I've been in manufacturing in one vein or another for over 40 years now. So you know, there's been a lot of change, but there's not a lot we haven't seen. And again, we're talking at things like productivity, which Trevor again alluded to. You know, the sort of things we're helping companies with today are no different to the sort of to exactly the issues which I was writing about in my degree dissertation 35 years ago. So
wow.
You know, so what has changed? Well, the pace of change, the speed of the internet. You know, everybody's a vending machine, not a supplier or customer anymore. So that the whole speed of business has increased dramatically over that period of time. But at the root cause of it, you know, the actual disciplines of running a well-structured, profitable manufacturing company haven't changed.
Right.
And it's that level of support that we're trying to achieve and help manufacturing companies with.
Brilliant. So it's like I'm not prepared. This, isn't it? I'm going to say what is the manufacturing support program? I know I've got a slide deck that you provided me, so I'm going to put that up as well. And with you, just flick between you chatting and so tell me a bit more about the manufacturing support program. I'll let me just find the add to our stage our support program and see if I can get the thing to it. So
well,
tell me a bit more.
Yeah, very briefly. I mean, the current manufacturing support program is now available across most of Lincolnshire, certainly North Lincolnshire. It's actually the third year that we've been running this. We started running it during the back end of COVID, and we've really been focusing on helping companies, you know, overcome the obstacles that they're facing. And let's be honest, there's plenty of obstacles. So overcoming those obstacles and improving performance and productivity. So yes, as Trevor alluded to, it's not necessarily throwing money at things, it's just doing things better.
Okay. So what's on offer?
Well, we're quite flexible in our approach. Companies can do all of this, or they can just do the bits they want to do. You know, what we're trying to do is help the companies, not force them down a pre-prescribed route which they perhaps don't need. So first and foremost, we offer them a chance to do an opportunity assessment. This is where we sit with a consultant and reflect on the business, the opportunities for improvement, the opportunities to grow the business. That leads on to, you know, we agree some sort of action plan, could be a written report if that's appropriate. But that leads on to us being able to offer some bespoke individual support. And again, that takes various forms. We're also putting on a number of online workshops that people can get involved in. Again, there's lots of workshops out there, but these are aimed purely at manufacturing companies to help people get out of their bunkers. We're also offering up to join a peer group and get to come on and just chat with the other participants in the company in the program. And it's quite a diverse mixture of companies. They're not, there's a sort of a view of Lincolnshire manufacturers that they're all something to do with agriculture or gas turbines or wind turbines. It's not the case. There's a very broad range of organisations involved.
I'm a very big sort of advocate of the peer groups. I think they're a great way of sort of putting ideas out there, testing the water, soundboarding, working with your peers, finding actually a bit of support that you're not the only one that's struggling, or conversely, not the only one that's having great success. It's a way of sort of sharing a lot together. And I guess all this is free, provided by Business Lincolnshire.
Absolutely, it is. Yes, it's a fully funded program by Business Lincolnshire. Yes.
Okay, and like you say, you can pick a mix. You can add the bits you want. You can take the bits you don't want. It's not something you've got to start at the start and go through the whole lot.
No, absolutely not. The intention is we want to give the companies that contact us and work with us the support that they need, and that's why it's a bespoke program.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the next bit. Is that so? You talk about that business opportunity assessment.
Well, it's really, this slide was just to give you an idea of the sort of things we talk about. So, it's a general health check, really, to start off with. This is often an opportunity. A lot of companies don't get a chance to do this unless somebody like myself comes along. But we look at things like strategy, planning, people and skills, your market awareness, how much, how well do you actually know your market, and is there potential there? We look at their customer base. We look at their products and services they supply, their approach to innovation. Is that part of their strategy or something that just gets thrown at them by their suppliers or customers rather? And of course, we look at process control and operations planning. And of course, along with that is the supply chain. A lot of people have had a lot of problems with supply chain going from the front as well as the back. And of course, one thing everybody's keen on in the UK government is export. So we'll obviously examine an appetite and capability for export as well. So that's the opportunity.
We'll talk a bit more about export with Andrea later on in this point. So that'd be good tying that all together. Okay, I'm going to I'll do your next slide. So individual support, some ideas of that one.
Yeah, I mean, typically, it's 9 hours. A support, but it can be less, it can be more. Again, it depends what the company requires. When you're thinking about, is this program right for me? Well, here's some of the sort of popular activities that we do. Obviously, business coaching. It's an opportunity for business owners to reflect on where their business is and where it's heading. Uncertain times, it's very difficult to plan. It's very difficult to make decisions about where you want to take the business. Productivity improvement and lean manufacturing. Well, we've never worked anywhere yet where we weren't able to take some cost out of the business and improve profitability. It's never happened in 20 years. Sales and marketing, that's another issue. Very often companies have outgrown their network, or there's problems in their network and they need help to get a grip of sales and marketing. Finance and funding, well, it's that 3 o'clock in the morning moment. If you're awake at that time in the morning, it's usually something to do with money, and we can help there. HR and workforce development, again, one of the things that companies in lean times and hard times neglect is the development of their workforce. So we're also looking at things like IP, intellectual property and patenting. Is the potential there to protect your IP? Do you have, is it something you should be working towards? And lastly, leadership and management training. Most consultants will tell you the fastest way to improve a business is train the managers.
Yeah, yeah. I think really important what you pick on there is the intellectual property. Yeah, I had a short session with an IP, I think it's an attorney, but you talked about sort of commercial secrets and how people give them away so easy. You know,
Oh
the
yeah.
sort of actually, so IP is that high level of, you know, actually registering IP or trademarks. But there's also that bit about, you know, just not talking too much about your commercial advantage or your, you know, the sort of things that actually put you ahead of your competitors.
Well, there's a lot you can do, you know, just to protect yourself. It's not necessarily a patent. You know, obviously, if there's a real opportunity there, then you know we can put you in the right direction there. But there's a lot of other things you can do just to
Yeah,
protect yourself generally.
yeah. Okay, and we talked about, so you got that one-to-one. You talked about workshops as well, didn't you? And again, I suppose I'm going to find a slide, but there's a variety of topics.
Yeah, I mean, we're just focusing on a few areas here. You know, building a marketing development plan specifically aimed at creating new business. You know, marketing is a broad
Yeah.
church.
Yeah,
Creating
yeah.
a future, you know, let's have a look at some of the issues around business planning and strategy. That innovation and protecting your intellectual property. You know, people think they're innovators, but actually they're very more often than not responding to the demands of particular customers rather than taking, you know, their intellectual property, their ability to innovate and taking it to their customers and saying, what about this? So we're looking at that. Manufacturing, again, it's more with less, the easy steps. There's a lot of things you can do just to improve productivity and profitability quite easily. So they're the 4 workshops we're doing, and they are workshops that are very interactive. So it's only 12 people, or maximum 12 people. And then, you know, we send out the materials and people there's plenty of time to discuss, you know, your issues with the other people in those particular workshops.
Okay.
Okay.
The lunch club. So I like the idea of these. Do like these. Always
well,
do.
Peer networks, as we know, have been a fantastic success since they first started with the BASE programs in 2020. We have seen, we've run about 23, 24 of these peer network programs since then, and every one is a learning experience. I get something out of this. So people genuinely have epiphany moments talking to other people, and this is basically we're not doing a formal peer network where but it is loosely based on the whole peer network action learning sets, etc. But we want it to be more relaxed. We want people to have a constructive discussion, but in an informal environment. So this is really what we're aiming to do, and just come along, talk to other people. It's amazing, but people, will always say, we have that issue, but we didn't know it was an issue, or they'll gain some insight into improvements they can make in their business just by talking to other people. So in a nutshell, that's the program.
Brilliant.
It's, do it all, just do the bits you want.
Got you. I've probably got a couple of slides. Don't know. Here we are. That's for you. That's about CMBT.
Well, yeah, I think we can skirt over that one, Guy, because I've given a bit of an intro there.
Eligibility, we know that. 2 more employees, more than 12 months turnover, greater than 100K, and obviously working in the region.
Yeah, that's right. Working in manufacturing or adding value with the service.
Okay, and I'll put that slide up.
Yeah, you can find us on the Business Lincolnshire website, or of course my details are there. Just give me a ring or drop me an email.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Let me just let me take that away from the state. I think so. We know eligibility. We know how to get there. As ever, the www.businesslincolnshire.com manufacturing support program. You can find you. You can always find Trevor there, who signposts you. I'm not sure if actually you're on that site as well. That's somewhere, Mike. I think I might have seen you. So thanks for that. Thanks for that. Go on.
I'm just going to say, or if you're in touch with your local Business Link advisor, contact them.
Yeah. So what we're trying to always say with these live shows is, businesslincolnshire.com is the site. That's where you go to, and everywhere from there we signpost out. Or your growth hub advisor or your specialist. They all lead in to the same things. That all comes in support. Okay, Mike. Thanks for that. Don't go away. I'd like to see you later on. I'd like to talk about the manufacturing conference in March. But thanks for that, and I'll whiz you out of the studio. I'll catch you in a minute. If I'm careful, I don't take him out of the whole broadcast. So I want to bring in bring in Chris, Dr. Chris Owen, Managing Director of Owen and Partners. Let me just flick between a couple of things. Oh, so I might look away and add Chris to the stage. Oh, yeah. Hi, Chris. So Chris, Managing Director of Owen and Partners, as I said, he's also the Programme Director for Made Smarter in the East Midlands, and he wants to share more details of what the programme is. Chris, give us a bit about yourself and a bit about the Made Smarter, because it's been going a couple of years now with some great success.
It has indeed. Yeah. Good afternoon, Guy. Thanks for having me back on the show. I think the last time I was here was when the programme had just launched. Actually, we'd just gone live. We'd managed to get the funding from HM government, and we were off and running. Bit of background about me: I've been in manufacturing all my working life. So I was with Caterpillar for nearly 20 years, always in manufacturing operations, supply chain and product development. Progressed in various different roles within Caterpillar, ended up as Director of Manufacturing for Europe, Africa and the Middle East for CAP, responsible for 38 facilities across the AME. And then moved into the automotive industry here in the UK, working with all the major OEMs and their suppliers over the course of about 10 years, something like that. So always in manufacturing. And now Made Smarter. So I don't know if you just want to pull the deck up, Guy, and I'll just turn the pages, introduce the program.
Just cue me off as well. Change slide behind Chris. That's okay. No, okay.
Yeah, thanks very much, Guy. Okay, if you just want to pop on to the next slide. So Made Smarter, what's it all about? So it's helping SME manufacturers with the adoption of industrial digital technology. So HM government scheme operating now in 5 areas across England, soon to be expanded UK wide. And it's all about the adoption of IDT for SME manufacturers. In fact, there's a couple of pieces to Made Smarter. So people might have heard of the brand. There's the Innovate UK piece of Made Smarter. And then there's the adoption piece of Made Smarter, which I'll be talking about in today's slide deck. But the adoption piece is very much focused on boots on the ground, implementation, and help and support at the coalface to help SMEs adopt digital technology. And I think there's a nice little video clip in this slide, actually, Guy, that sort of articulates what the program is all about. So I don't know if you can cut to the clip.
Yeah, the actual one about Made Smarter. Let me just get rid of that bit. Sorry, bit of a get rid of that bit, and I think it should be this one. Is this what we're saying?
Manufacturing is changing, and the pace of change is awe-inspiring. The smart technology and interconnectedness of all things we see in consumer products is also being applied in every aspect of manufacturing. Automated production lines have been revolutionized by smart networks which know when a machine is down, or when a new order has been placed, or when a bespoke install is required by a client. The supercharging of production processes made possible by giant leaps in industrial digitalization technologies. IDT is being hailed as the 4th industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0 for short. And manufacturers across every sector are adopting computer-driven cyber production techniques to improve their productivity. Food, farming, print, pharmaceuticals, automotive, and just about every production line you can think of. Backed by the UK government and some of the world's biggest companies, the Made Smarter adoption programme was launched in January 2019 in the Northwest. It already worked with more than 1,200 firms and directly supported over 580 businesses to use digital technology to overcome challenges or access opportunities to grow their business. Now, the adoption rollout has been extended with plans to support a further 1,000 small and medium-sized manufacturers across the Northwest, Northeast, Yorkshire, Humber and the West Midlands. Whether it's advice, funding support, skills or leadership your business needs, Made Smarter is helping makers and creators innovate their operations every day. Get in contact with us. Sign up now at madesmarter.uk.
I never like to cut a video off.
That's perfect. Thanks very much, Guy. I think that just gives people a really good flavour about, you know, what's the programme all about. And in the slides, we can just turn the pages, and I can talk a little bit more about the sort of support that's on offer. In terms of eligibility, it's available to companies in the East Midlands. So you saw there in the video, it's 4 regions. It's now been expanded into the East Midlands. It's for SME manufacturers, so headcounts of 1 through to 249. You have to be a maker of a product, so you have to be a manufacturer, and you have to be within Greater Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Derbyshire, or Nottinghamshire to be eligible. So fairly broad eligibility criteria. In terms of what's on offer, we start off with digital road mapping, and I think a lot of SMEs are really finding this part of the service particularly helpful, because we're finding a lot of people want to adopt digital or know that they should be adopting digital, but really struggle with knowing where to start. You know, what's a sensible investment? Where do I start my journey? What sort of technology should I be investing in? So the road mapping side of things sets out the plan for your business, so it's bespoke to each business. We understand the challenges and the aspirations for each business. And then we work with the manufacturer to set out the journey to digitalize their business. And again, that's free and impartial, which again, I think is very helpful. We then wind it right the way back to sort of the here and now and say, okay, so what's the first project to get you on the road to adopting digital technology? And we work with a broad range of manufacturers. Some of them have already adopted digital. They've got MRP systems or MES systems in place already. Others have done nothing, so they're running their facilities based on an Excel spreadsheet in many cases, and really haven't done any digital adoption. And we can, doesn't matter where they are on their journey, we can pick them up and take them further. Once we've been through the road mapping side of things, we can offer grant funding up to 20k max for CapEx or revenue projects with a 50% minimum match. We can offer impartial technical expertise in virtually every discipline of IDT technology. So it doesn't matter whether you're interested in automation, robotics, sensors, data and systems integrations, or something a little bit more rudimentary, perhaps. We also offer a leading digital transformation program to help leaders understand and overcome some of the challenges to implementing digital technology within their business. Because as most manufacturing leaders know, it's not so much about the technology, it's all about the people. And how do we help people and equip them to be able to work in a new and a different way by using the technology to improve their working lives rather than seeing it as a threat. And that's quite a challenge. So we supplement the program with that training as well.
Yeah. So I mean, just looking at grants, you don't see a lot of grants around at the moment. It's sort of so it's really interesting that, you know, Made Smarter's got this grant for sort of digital adoption, digitally enabled expansion or growth.
Yeah, we have. It's a relatively simple process. We turn the applications around super quick. So from evaluation panel to grant offer letter, it's about 48 hours, something like that. The grant evaluation panels run every month. We do have funding in the pot, and we'll have funding for next year for more grant funding if people need it and want it. So yeah, it's proving very good news. Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
The sorts of projects we support, a lot of it is data and systems integrations. We're finding a lot of manufacturers have a lot of web-based applications, so Xero or QuickBooks or Sage, for example. They might have an MRP system, they might have a people-related system, an HR system. But the issue then is trying to tie those systems together to have one set of numbers to be able to run their business. So we're finding a lot of projects in data and systems integration. Robotics and process control is also very, very popular, as is the use of sensors to gather data from the shop floor, but also in transactional processes as well. So those are the sorts of projects we support. And then there's another little video clip in here, Guy, which I think sets out the story of a manufacturer that engaged with Made Smarter and what their experiences were. So it might be helpful if you've got time just to cut to the video so people can understand how does it actually tick?
You were just reading my mind, Chris. I was just thinking, what a great point to put another video on. I love this one. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Mike. I've owned a small manufacturing business for 10 years now. We were receiving plenty of orders from new and existing customers, but I wanted to improve the business and increase productivity. I realised that to do this, I'd need to look at different ways of doing things and upgrade our outdated systems. But to be honest, I wasn't sure where to start. There is just too much conflicting information to review. So when I heard about the Made Smarter program, I was really intrigued as it seemed to be the support I'd been looking for. All their independent advice is free, and the specialists help me at every step on my digital journey. Initially, I was out of my comfort zone, but was amazed at how easy it was with their help. A digital technology specialist from Made Smarter came to visit, and we had a really good chat about the business and our future plans. Based on that initial chat, we ran a joint transformation workshop together, which resulted in a digital roadmap outlining the steps we needed to take to integrate the new technology and the skills training into our business. They helped me fill out the forms to apply for a funding grant for the new digital technology and identify the skills training and ongoing leadership support our team needed to assist with our digital transformation. I was so grateful for the hand-holding, and it gave me peace of mind knowing I could speak to them or email them whenever I had a question. Contacting the Made Smarter team was the best decision I could have made. They were really supportive, and most importantly, they make a difference. My business is more efficient, more productive, and the team spirit has improved no end. So if you have a manufacturing business like mine and are struggling to get started with digital technology, I'd advise you to do the same. And proof that there's no need to worry about adopting digital technology. Start the ball rolling now at www.madesmarter.uk. They really can help to make your business smarter.
So that's a nice story of kind of how the program works, Guy. And we're finding lots of manufacturers want to adopt digital, but just don't know where to start. So getting free and impartial help and support is proving very, very popular.
Yeah, and also I think what we're getting from these videos is the scale of this. You don't have to be a sort of monolith. You can be a small manufacturing business, and actually your adoption might be a completely different phase to someone else's.
Yeah,
you might
absolutely.
be very early in that, but even so, it gets you going into that. That might be the sort of the first bit of digital integration you do in your business.
That's right. That's right. And it doesn't matter whether you've done some already or whether you're just starting. So we can start the journey wherever.
Okay, I'll go back to I'll add your press back just to give us some prompts. So bit of the background bit. It'd be nice just giving us that overall some numbers here, isn't it? Which is quite good.
Yeah, it is. So we've been operating just over a year. We've already had over 400 expressions of interest across the region. So I'm absolutely delighted with the way the region's manufacturers have engaged with the program. I have to say, we've got over 200 manufacturers currently engaged that we're working with. A lot of doing that digital road mapping that we spoke about earlier in the deck. We are encouraging and inspiring capital investment in manufacturing operations, and lots of people are benefiting from the free and impartial technical advice that we get through the program. We are still open for new registrations. We do have space to fit more businesses in. So if anybody has interest in adopting digital, I would encourage them to reach out and touch base with us. This program is due to finish at the end of March 25. So we've got a little bit over a year left to run. If people want to get involved, thank you, Guy. You can go to the National Made Smarter website and click on I'm a Manufacturer. And from there, you can register your expression of interest and we'll scoop you up from there and get you on your journey. So it's very, very easy to get involved with the program. There's lots of other ways of engaging with us as well. So if you're not quite ready to register an expression of interest, if you just click onto the next slide, Guy, people can engage with us in the following ways. So we've got LinkedIn, obviously X and Facebook. We run regional events. We share case studies, advice and helpful links. So anybody interested in digitalization can connect with us over those channels and get help and support from us. And I think that's it in a nutshell. I'll save the Q&A in the interest of time, and maybe if you invite me back into the room, we can take.
Yeah. I'll see if I'm keep flicking over to our channel. So if anyone on the LinkedIn live wants to ask a question for Chris, Trevor, or Mike, do put it in the chat, and I'll pick that up. But thanks for that, Chris. I thought the interesting bit, though, just before I let you go on this, just this one bit, it was, when you sort of said, you're getting people that are talking about, we've already got Xero, we've already got some accounting software. I mean, it goes down to that sort of bit, how do you get this to talk to something else?
Yeah.
How do I get my HR system to talk to maybe my payment system and my Xero wages system? And I think maybe some people always see this as being, I've got to be after a huge sort of all-encompassing program that does the whole business, and it's not.
Exactly.
It's actually about trying to link the small stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And we've got, I think it's true to say, over the last 5 or so years, manufacturers have adopted lots of different applications, pay software as a service, and they've been able to pick up apps, implement them quite easily, to fix individual issues and problems around their business. But that hasn't been done with a strategic mindset of actually, how does all this stuff connect? And so what we find out is we've got lots of businesses that have got a whole patchwork of different bits of software that don't talk to each other. They haven't got one set of numbers, and then they spend their time trying to figure out, okay, so what is the right revenue number? Is it the sales team's number? Is it the one that's in CRM? Is it the ones that the sales director has? Is it the one that's loaded into the MRP system? And so we've now got a situation where there's lots of individual software solutions. Companies need help in actually putting that together to have one single set of numbers to drive their business. And that's a very common situation. Yeah.
I think we see that outside manufacturing as well. We do see that across the piece. So thanks for that, Chris. I'm going to take you out of the studio and bring you back in sort of 5 or 10 just to talk about the conference and any questions we've got.
Yeah, thank you, Guy.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for that. So I want to introduce next Andrea Collins, who's the Managing Director of Global Trade Department. I'm trying to speak and add Andrea at the same time. So I'll add Andrea in, give her a quick intro. So Andrea is an international trade specialist with over 25 years experience in the industry. Linguist, fluent in French and Spanish. Always a specialist. Andrea specialized in importing, exporting, EU trade post-Brexit, business resilience and business growth. And lots of other stuff. Andrea, welcome. Good afternoon.
Hi, Guy. Thanks for having me. I've done a couple of these now, but they've always been international trade focused. So it's been really nice to hop in on one that's sector specific, like manufacturing. So thank you.
No, welcome. And I think what we're trying to tie in with the whole sort of manufacturing month, if you sort of say, or the manufacturing business live show, is also to look at what's happening with what are you doing with Global Trade Department? What have you got going over the next month or two that actually has sort of could have an impact to some of our manufacturing businesses? So tell me a bit more about you and what Global Trade Department do, and then let's talk about the event that's coming up, if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Global Trade Department, as you said, we specialise in both import and export. So we're independent of the Department of Business for Trade. We're independent of the growth hubs, but we are funded by the growth hubs to deliver very specific, primarily one-to-one support around import and export for SMEs across Lincolnshire, Leicestershire, Notts and Derbyshire. So we tend to get involved in the stuff that other people don't want to touch. So the really technical stuff, stuff around HMRC compliance, sustainability, a lot of stuff like that. But the biggest thing is it's one-to-one. It's very custom, bespoke to the organisation that we're working with. So it's not they have to fit into a certain programme. It's actually we work around what their needs and requirements are.
I think what's really interesting when you just said there was importing and exporting. At one point, there was help to export, but nothing on that supply import chain, which I think for some businesses was really important, trying to find the right supplier if they can't find one in the UK, that they've got to bring one in from outside. And what's the best way of doing that?
Absolutely. And I think, when we look, so we have private clients and we work with growth hubs across the UK as well. And typically exporters also import. We are kind of like a part of the global economy. So I think whilst upskilling in terms of export is always really important, and it's going to be a focus of the government because it's a way of growing our economy, import is quite technical and quite often more difficult. And that can be the areas where exporters and importers struggle. So being able to support them on both sides of the coin is really important.
No, I can't agree more. So, tell me a bit more about this this event that you're organising. I think it's next month, isn't it?
Absolutely. So it was great to join the guys today to talk a little bit about our event running on the 21st of March. It's basically, we've given it a title, Securing Global Trade Success in 2024 and beyond. But essentially, it's a workshop. It's a 3-hour virtual workshop. And it's open to novice and experienced importers and exporters. It's really good to have a mix. Obviously, manufacturing is a big sector, so there are lots of subsectors as well. So it's always great to get different representatives from different companies on that call at the same time. It's no more than 12 attendees or 12 participants, and it's very practical focused. So we're going to take them on a journey from understanding how export and import or international trade as a whole can actually help their businesses, why they should be looking at it, why it should be part of their strategy, right the way through to understanding the preferential trading landscape that the UK has right now. So what are the trade agreements that are in place currently, now that we've left the EU? Obviously, it's undeniably Brexit is still an issue, so we'll probably cover some bits around Brexit, but we're thinking more further afield than that. So what are the kind of pain points that manufacturers will face in importing and exporting? And we're going to cover almost a little bit of a practical workshop around those. So 20-minute modules, no longer, because it's not a training session per se. It's about giving a taste of these specific aspects, and then it may well uncover the requirements for further training later on down the line. But it's about taking them on a journey, everything that they need to be aware of to import and export as a manufacturer in the current climate, but also moving forward as well. So if you look at the moment, just looking at supply chains and the disruption that we've had through Brexit and COVID, manufacturers have had a really rough time. And obviously with the destabilization of the Middle East right now and the routes through the Red Sea and so on, it's getting even worse. So the requirement to build more resilience into the supply chain is really important. The requirement to perhaps look at other destination markets. You may have had markets that have been part of your strategy to penetrate, and now you're thinking, actually, maybe we put those on the back burner and we look at others that are a little bit more secure, less risky at the moment. And also the raft of sustainability regulation that's coming down the line that it's not unfair to say that a lot of businesses are burying their heads until it kind of jumps up to bite them on the bum. And there's a lot of it coming through, primarily led by the EU, but it is having ripple effects throughout the world. So 20-minute modules throughout a morning. Kind of course material will be issued in advance, and then presentations issued after the session, running from 9:30 till 12:30 on the 21st of March. I think what's always good about these kind of sessions is, yes, I've got 25 plus years experience and I am classed as a specialist. I'm always learning. Every day is a school day, but they learn just as much by the people that are on that session with them as that are living and breathing import and export and all the challenges and rewards that it brings every single day. It's a fantastic space to be in. It's really exciting. But it helps to de-risk it somewhat. It's a slow burn. The returns aren't often as quick as they are in your domestic market, and it can be riskier, but there's a mitigation strategy for every risk out there, and that's some of what we're exploring as well. I'm really excited about it, whether you can tell.
No, only slightly. I mean, so the points you come there, but this is a very dynamic, changing landscape, isn't it? Because you've got legislation changing all over the world. You've got, like you say, you've got sort of things in the Middle East and the Red Sea and how that's affecting sort of global shipping, etc. And you've got maybe the lessons that some businesses learned during lockdown, where secondary suppliers or shorter supply chains, and looking at de-risking and then that whole thing of sort of carbon footprint trading in a sustainability and green environment. So lots and lots of challenges.
Absolutely. And I think, something that was very under focused on throughout preparing for Brexit was the services economy or the services sector. And quite often manufacturers will have a level of services as well. So they may have their own installers or, staff, field sales staff, field service staff and so on. And actually having those guys go out to the EU now is a lot more complicated than it might have been before Brexit. So we might touch, for example, on kind of like entry requirements for certain EU markets and certain markets further afield, whether it be field service staff or whether it be, straightforward business visits. It's all these things. One of our colleagues that works for DBT will always say, companies don't know what they don't know. And I don't think there's ever been a truer statement, really.
Yeah.
So I think we'll cover a lot, which is actually on the agenda, but then I'm always amazed at the things that get thrown up in these sessions.
I'm going to throw your slide deck up again, just so it's the location. It's online. It's on the 21st, 9:30 till 12:30. That's how you can get in touch. You can get you direct on that email address. Or you go to the business link site and look up Securing Global Trade Success as an event. You'll find that. Is that right?
And the thing that mentions as well is that there is follow-on one-to-one support afterwards. So
hang on, that's this one here, isn't it?
Absolutely. So for participants that have come along, have gotten what they needed to out the session, but really want to dive deeper into certain other elements or have a one-to-one session about their specific business challenges, then we've got funding to provide that as well. So it's not just come along to the workshop and see you goodbye. There is the opportunity to have that one-to-one support afterwards and further signposting if needed.
And that's up to 30 hours could be. Ooh.
It can be, yeah.
Very generous, very generous. Brilliant. Okay. Is there anything else you want to I want to add to that, Andrea, or have we covered?
No, I think we're just about done. I think the Eventbrite link, I think, allows you, if we hit that kind of 12 participant threshold, then I think there's the opportunity to join the waiting list. So this is just the first of several that we'll be doing. So don't be put off if you actually get around to registering and you think, oh no, I've missed it. We will be putting on more, so just subscribe to the waiting list.
Okay, I've put that link in the LinkedIn. I've put the link there into the LinkedIn chat. So if anyone wants to pick that up or just search Business Link and look for that event, go onto that. I guess it's a registration or expression of interest page. And even if it's full, put your stuff in because it might drive a second and third iteration of that program. Yeah,
that's brilliant. No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Guy, for letting me just hijack the event and come in and talk about export.
No, I think it's very relevant. I think it's, the fact we're manufacturing focused, there are lots of different facets to that. We talked about the technology, we talked about business support, digital adoption, leadership and management. And now we're talking about routes to export or helping with import. I think it's all part of that manufacturing supply chain, all the part of that manufacturing need. So thanks very much for sharing, for joining me. I know you've been waiting for a long time so thanks for being patient with us. And I say I've dropped that I've dropped the link in the chat. So hopefully that'll be helpful to those watching.
That's super. Thanks so much, Guy. Take care.
Thanks again, Andrea. Cheers. Thanks. Bye bye. I'll just try to drop Andrea, and I'm going to bring everyone back in again if I can. Here we go, as if by magic, Trevor, Chris, and Mike reappear. And I just want to talk about, I don't know about you guys, I think it was quite interesting that there's things there around import and export got to be helpful to manufacturers.
Yeah, completely. Okay. I've had a few conversations already with people who are struggling with support in that area. So one particular manufacturer couldn't send goods into Ireland because of harmonization codes. We wanted some specific support. So yeah, I think it's very relevant.
Good. And so it's good for you guys to know what Andrew's doing. This is all the same sort of, actually, how can we help this is even more. So the final thing I want to just touch on is the manufacturing conference that's happening. And I've got to go back to my script because I'm going to give the wrong date. I'm terrible with dates. So maybe someone's going to tell me it's happening on the 9th, is it not?
Of March, Friday the 9th.
Brilliant. And Chris, what are you doing there at the show? What's happening? What are you up to?
So we will have a Made Smarter stand at the show, I think, alongside Mike and Trevor. So we'll be like a manufacturing trio, I think, is the idea. So anybody interested in getting help and support can approach us. If they're interested specifically in the adoption of digital, they can come talk to us. We can give them further details of the program, sort of the level of engagement required, and more details around the help and support they can get. So yeah, we'll be there with the Made Smarter banner, so we should be easy to find.
Okay, I'm just pulling a couple of slides because I didn't manage to get all of these on here. Where are we? I'm just trying to just look at that one. So that's a link which you don't want to know, but actually that's what I was trying to put there. On the 8th of March, correct? The lawn in Lincoln, category manufacturing, unorganised business Lincolnshire. I guess, Trevor, have you got a stand or are you wandering around?
I'll be wandering around aimlessly. No, I'll be around.
No, I didn't say that.
I'll be there to speak to any businesses who want to chat about the sport, any questions about the actual event, hopefully get some new contacts so I can go and visit them as well. So yeah, I'll be around all for the day.
Got you. And also, obviously there's a networking breakfast, there's a working lunch, there's exhibitions, there's other businesses there. I think it's a great way of getting everyone together. And I think, just as Andrea said about some of the things he does, actually getting people together just to have, just to talk to peers, to sort of share problems, maybe even give solutions, maybe give ideas. I think it's a really good idea. I'm just looking in my comments. I haven't got any questions for you guys, but I just wanted to bring you all back. I'm just going to get rid of that slide. But you know, the lawn, Lincoln, 8th of March. I think that's a Friday, isn't it? If I get my dates right, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I think one of the guys is actually having Trevor, Mike, and myself all there together, because it may well be that a manufacturer doesn't quite know what's the best route of support for them. Mm-hmm. And so if they're thinking about digitalization, but maybe not quite ready for Made Smarter, maybe it's something Mike and Trevor could help them with, and vice versa. I mean, these aren't mutually exclusive. If they want to go on the journey with Trevor and Mike, but then also want to link into Made Smarter at a later date or alongside the work they do with Trevor and Mike, that's also, you know, possible. So we're here as a kind of network of support. And if people aren't quite sure about what's the right next step for them, where should they engage, we can have that as an open discussion there and then, and try our best to sort them out and give them some clarity as to what might be the right steps for them.
Yeah, I think Business Linkage is very keen on that. It's very keen that, you know, that the growth of advisors, any of the specialist advisors on the specialist programs, you know, including the ones that, I mean, we will run on digital support. It's not manufacturing specific. It's around a piece, and it's maybe early learning. You know, it's early support around digital adoption. You know, is that we're all talking to each other, so that actually the best support is given to the business that they can, and they seamlessly move between the programs as and when it's required. So yeah, great to have that conference, great to have everyone together. I mean, if everyone's there, or the representatives from the programs are there, whatever, I think we're great. Just conscious of time, and I never want to overrun. So unless any of you got anything more to add, I'm just going to say, I'll just do a wrap and say, Chris, Mike, Trevor, thanks really for joining me today. Thanks for your time. Thanks for sharing what you're doing. I think there's some really exciting stuff going on. I think there's some great support, and you guys have got an absolute wealth of knowledge, and probably even bigger than that, a group of associates and people you know in the industry that you can tap into, get 15 minutes with, you know, sort of almost sort of join as many dots as there are. So thanks for joining me, and hopefully the conference will go really well. I just want to say a couple of things before everyone goes, and it's just well, keep you all on screen. But the next show is going to be looking at another program that Business Lincolnshire is doing, which is the Your Business Boost program, aimed at retail, leisure and hospitality. And the next show is going to be on Tuesday, the 25th of March, joined by Deborah Goodall and I think Hayley Toyne from the hospitality sector. I always do a plug. It's always the same time, Tuesday, 1 o'clock. But thanks to Chris, thanks to Mike, thanks to Trevor, thanks to Andrew for joining us. Hope we have a good rest of the week. Thanks, everybody.
Same to you.
I'll end the stream.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.